Okay, so today I'm going to be discussing who was Malcolm X. Malcolm X was, for the simplest of words, a layman. He was a regular man. He, went through the struggles of poverty and resorted to all kinds of foolery. Eventually wound up in prison, and where he became a part of the group, the Nation of Islam. The Nation of Islam is a black nationalist group, which is more radical in the way that they approach political ideologies. They do not impose violence or threaten violence, although their speech is radical and discusses so many areas of controversy and social problems that to those who are of white fragility find offense to it, because the emotion and the passion that's conveyed through their speech can be so powerful. I guess the guilt triggers within the white fragility, causing a sense of fear, and then takes it for hostility. But in reality, it's just a negotiation for their ideologies on politics. They're not normal in the sense that traditional politics, but nonetheless politics, and it's their viewpoints, and they're, actually correct about a lot of the things. It's just, you know, in religious sense, it's tied deeply. So, we can agree to disagree, but for the most part, they're not spreading false information, they're not threatening violence. And so Malcolm X was joining this group while he was in prison, and he was, introduced to some, very he was awoken to, some different attributes of history and religion, and, diction and how words are used. And so it caused Malcolm X to become a part of this group. And this group was never really had a national level minister who moved the crowd the way Malcolm X did. And I think that's what made him a threat, was that his ability to gather numbers and speak with such power and vigor that it moved people. And I think the society wasn't ready to see people be rallied behind such a powerful voice. And like Martin Luther King had rallied, in this time too, but he did not speak to the people who were feeling more of the unjust, the systematical unjust. And that's more about not just the segregation, but Malcolm X foreseeing the social, like the police brutality and the issues that we're discussing in the day to day right now. Malcolm X was touching on this subjects years ago. And I think that's why Malcolm X is such a powerful figure. We still talk about him. He's widely respected in most minority communities, because not because he was radical and violent, but because he spoke the truth. And Malcolm X left the Nation of Islam after his realization. He came to the realization, that Islam is for all people, and that white people are not all inherently evil. And so once he had this enlightenment, this realization, I think he began to speak in a more relatable tone. But by then, he had already built up this persona, and this persona of Malcolm X's ultimately led to his demise, because it's nobody's quite sure who murdered him, but I have a feeling his strong voice and his ability to move crowds led to his demise, whether that be him leaving the Nation of Islam, or the government feeling like he had too much power, or the Christians feeling like he had too much control over the community. Neither here nor there. The fact of the matter is, the man's legacy does not deserve to be tarnished. He was not violent. He was a powerful speaker. He was a wise man. And he spoke the truth. Maybe not always with the best of intent, or maybe it wasn't always the best delivery of the truth, but nonetheless the truth. And sometimes the truth hurts. So that is Malcolm X.